How's it going, guys? Rhino here, bringing you podcast number 6. This podcast was sponsored by Overdose of Sound. Their business is a pretty cool idea. They're a community-based music site where you can listen to a bunch of different genres, and people can post their own music. I know some of you guys are EDM artists. You should check them out. They have a site, it will be in the description below, and it's overdoseofsound.com. If you don't make music, they have some really nice songs on the front page of their site and a YouTube channel. Do you want to sponsor a podcast? Make sure to add me on Skype. My Skype is ryan.pattee2, RYAN.PATTEE2. We can discuss possible sponsorships. I'm also doing voiceovers for anyone who wants a free voiceover. I do intros, outros, or anything of the sort. Add me on my aforementioned Skype, and we can go over the details there. Our 3 topics today are thoughts on reconciling faith. I was asked this question by a person who I network with, actually. Are anti-feminists sexist? And why do I support Free the Nipple if I'm an anti-feminist? Now, let me start off by saying, guys, that it's great to be back. I've been gone for a little while. I went on vacation, and then when I came back, I didn't have time to record. I had some health issues. I was just diagnosed with C. diff, which is a bacterial infection that's potentially fatal. I was not close to dying. I'm not trying to say I was near death at all. I was almost perfectly fine. I was lucky that I was caught. But yes, I'm doing an antibiotic regimen for that, so I'll be fine. But because of that, I haven't been able to do a podcast in a little while, and it's honestly great to be back. I love doing this, and it's really fun. So, thoughts on reconciling faith with science. Basically, I didn't really get into an argument, but this guy messaged me, or no, he was messaging my friend because my friend wanted to recruit him into our network. And the guy said that he wanted to join, but he has a grudge with me, sort of. He called it an immature grudge with me, and so he didn't want to join because he knows I'm the owner of the network. And so I messaged him about it, and basically he just said that I have different religious ideas than him, and because of that, he doesn't think it'd be a good idea to work together. I disagree that I don't think that would come into play with, me being the network owner and him being a partner, but I respect his choice. It's his own choice, and he was very friendly about it. But basically, we had a little discussion, not a debate at all, a discussion, and he wanted me to make a video, part of a video, where I talk about reconciling faith and science. What my thoughts are on the people who try to do that. Now, I have talked about this a little bit before, but basically, I'm not like a lot of atheists. A lot of atheists think it's futile to reconcile faith and science. They think it's pointless because they think religion is the opposition of science, which in some cases it is. It depends on the religion and what type of doctrine you follow. But ultimately, I think that if you try to reconcile faith and religion, that's perfectly fine. Faith and religion. Faith and science. Sorry if I say that. I get confused there. Reconcile faith and science. Because people like Catholics and the Pope, they have reconciled their faith. They know, they accept evolution as the scientific fact that it is. They know that it happens. I mean, science is our best way of studying and examining the world around us. It's our closest understanding of what actually happened, and what actually happens around us every single day, and what will continue to happen as well. They realize that, and so they're able to reconcile their faith. They are making an attempt to do so, which is great. The people who don't are the people I have a problem with, reconciling faith and science. Science is real. Science is testable. Science is not dogma. Science is not a doctrine pushed by anyone to try to convince people not to be a part of religion. What science is science is the study of the natural world around us. That's it. Science allows us to look at the data objectively and come to a conclusion. That's the thing about science. For example, if I were to come up with a theory, we don't know what came before the Big Bang. There are some theories about it, but we don't know for certain. The theories have evidence, and it's a lot better than substituting in God because that's God of the gaps. It's a logical fallacy. If I were to come up with a theory, just a random theory, and I know this will sound preposterous, but I'm doing it to prove a point. If I were to come up with a theory and say, okay, well, what I think happened is Scientifically, a pencil, and I'm saying this because I'm looking at a pencil right now, a pencil was always existent there where the singularity was, and it started writing out code that would cause the Big Bang. That's my theory. Now, what I would do is I would take that theory, that hypothesis, and propose it. I would basically write a paper about it, and it would be attacked. Even if it had insurmountable scientific evidence to support it. Like we found the original pencil or whatever. It would be attacked by all different scientists from all different fields because they want to prove that theory wrong. Why? Because scientists value truth. That's what they value the most. If they can prove it wrong, then that's it. That theory is done. We can either adjust it or throw it out altogether. However, if they're not able to prove it wrong, then after years of testing, it becomes a scientific theory. And that is how strong science is. Scientists, instead of like preachers who just preach their shit as truth without any evidence, scientists try to prove themselves wrong, even their own theories. So, saying that you can't reconcile science and religion or science and faith, you can and you should. If you can't do that, then you need to abandon the one that has no evidence. Because, like creationists, there's a lot of harm done by them existing, by them proposing these things and then teaching their kids about this shit. It's very harmful, and I advise against that. I think that those are people who definitely need to reconcile their faith, but they probably won't. On to the second topic. Are anti-feminists sexist? This is something that I have been called numerous times. I proudly wear the title anti-feminist. I talk about it pretty much whenever I can, and I like to correct people who say things incorrectly about feminism or issues along those lines. And I'm very proud of being an anti-feminist, but I get a lot of hate, and I get told every fucking day that I'm a sexist because I call myself an anti-feminist and because I don't support the feminist movement. But anti-feminism is not sexism, because if I was anti-egalitarian, yes. Egalitarian is gender equality. Feminism, in theory, is about equality, but in practice is anything but. I can go into the specific details of that. I have in other videos, but I really would rather not here. But opposing a movement that can be deemed poisonous from the radicals does not make you a racist or a sexist. For example, the abolitionist movement. So basically, in case you don't know, the abolitionist movement was a movement back in the early American days when we had slaves. Well, not early, but fairly early, when we had slaves. The abolitionist movement was against slavery. They wanted to abolish slavery, which is great. However, if the abolitionist movement had black superiority undertones to it and did very questionable things, and the radicals were questionable at best, I would not support that. And opposing that would not make you a racist, even though it sounds like you are opposing our equal rights for black people in that sense, or, well, just abolishing slavery. That wasn't even about equal rights. That was just abolishing slavery. It sounds like you are pro-slavery, but that's not the case, because you are opposing a movement for specific reasons. You are opposing the movement because it had racial superiority undertones, trying to make it so that blacks were superior, which it didn't. The abolitionist movement was very awesome, and they were great. I would have supported it. But I'm making a point here. And so there is nothing wrong with that. If you see a problem with the movement itself, not the idea, but the movement itself. You can oppose that without any backlash, or, well, you doesn't make you a horrible person, doesn't make you a sexist, doesn't make you a racist or anything along those lines, because you're doing it for a reason other than the ideology. If I were opposing feminism simply because they wanted equality, then yes, that would make me a sexist. But I am for gender equality. I call myself an egalitarian. I want the genders to be equal. The third topic, I'm going to talk about an idea that I agree with feminists on. But I'm not a feminist. I oppose the movement because it has to do with a lot of very poisonous things that the radicals do, and that even some of the moderates agree with. And I just don't want to be a part of that. I want to go against that. And I actually talked about in one of my videos that I would rather have a hardcore conservative Republican as a president than a feminist as a president. That's how poisonous I see the movement. And this is something that I have done a lot of research on. This is not something that I'm doing just because I am what do you call it? A pampered white male. Which is something that feminists like to throw out there. It's actually because I've done research on the issue of feminism and the things they support, especially like gender studies. It's actually really poisonous if you look at what is actually taught in gender studies. But yeah. Now, the third topic, why do I support Free the Nipple, which is a feminist movement, feminist supported movement, I guess. Essentially, let me break it down for you really quickly. I could turn on my webcam right now and I could show my nipple on YouTube and it would be perfectly fine. It's not considered nudity. That's just me showing my nipple. However, if my girlfriend were to come over and do the same thing, the video would get taken down, and that is considered nudity. And feminists want to change that, and I want to change that too. But the only reason I want to change that is because of equality. I mean, I see me being able to take my shirt off in public as a privilege that women don't have. Now they can wear like a bra or a bikini or whatever, but they don't have the ability to just be topless in most places. And I believe that that's a right that should be afforded to all humans. Now, admittedly, from both sexes, there are people that I don't think should be allowed to be shirtless, but that's not based on nipples. It's based on everything above the waist if it doesn't look good. But that is definitely both genders, and that's a whole other issue that doesn't have to do with sexism. That has to do with people being disgusting sometimes. But yeah, I do support Free the Nipple. It's a good movement, and it's a right that women should have. I mean, there's nothing poisonous about Free the Nipple. I don't like how feminists are going about trying to how do you say it exactly? How they're going about trying to accomplish this mission. It's not good because they are doing it in a lot of very bad ways, protesting things, stuff like that. It does not look good. They're doing it in a very bad way, but I support the idea of Free the Nipple itself. I would easily vote for that if it were on a ballot. Well, that's about it for this podcast, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to post your thoughts on the three topics I've talked about below. I'm happy to have a friendly debate with anyone if you have any problems with what I said. You can. I would prefer if you talk to me on Twitter or Skype about that, because I do not have access to the YouTube channel itself, so I can't respond to comments. My friend can, and he holds basically the same ideas as me, so he could respond, I guess. But I'd prefer if you messaged me on Twitter or Skype. My Skype I already mentioned at the beginning of the video. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and have a nice day.